Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and we are live in UFRL for Tier 1, and it will be the Miami Grand Prix. Yes, I can confirm that somebody is commentating today, and the mic, I do believe, is on. It better be anyway. Why is she racing again? Yeah, why is parkour racing again? I know, it's terrible. Terrible news for everybody who is racing this evening, that parkour is racing. And there you go. Perfect start, eh? Perfect, thank you very much for that. Good start to the event, and we're on board with Hazer at the moment, of course. Him and Pesci continuing to squabble for that Tier 1 championship. Who will take the prize come the end of the season? Surely it's just between those two, however. But yeah, so it is all about that battle. Hazer versus Pesci. You've got Lynx, who is racing in the Red Bull this evening, Merc in the Williams as well, and Mr. Poem in the Aston Martin. Also Rusted Bolt in the AlphaTauri. So that is your top 6 in the championship, all racing this evening. But we'll stick with Hazer, as he will be the first driver to go for a push lap. The Red Bull is just behind in the form of Lynx. And you've got the two Alpines, Tajani and Coffee. The Aston Martin of Mr. Poem and the Alfa Romeo of Parkour also out onto the circuit quite early. The two McLarens are out now in the form of Pesci and Wizard Rex as well. But let's go then with William. How will he fare this evening? Doesn't rate. Oh, William. Why am I saying let's go with William? We're in with Hazer. Sorry, it's Hazer. Just going into turn 1 now. My apologies on that one. Clearly not William. I had a look at his name, I think that's why. But William is actually reserving, well, actually no, he is full-time now in the Haas. But he still hasn't raced too many times this season. Hazer, in a way, is in Sector 1, just going through the S's and beyond. And into the Marina section he goes, and is down through the double left-hander.
Wake us up. Let's go. It's race time.
Good old Lewis Hamilton with that one. And now Hazer, of course, purple through the Sector 1 splitter. Red Bull going slowly up ahead and moving out of the way. Is that Lynx? Wait, what? It must have been Lynx. How has he managed to get that far behind? Well, Hazer, either way, has invalidated his time. So therefore, we'll move away. We'll go to the Alpine of Coffee, who is on a lap. So he will now be the first driver to set a time, even though the Red Bull and the AlphaTauri were ahead of him on the circuit. I still don't know how Lynx was so far behind. I mean, he obviously went for a very slow lap. Out lap, rather. So, wow. Very slow. We've got the two Alpines and will set the first times. I mean, Lynx is still technically on a lap, but he's going very slowly, of course, so this won't be a hot lap for him, but there will be a hot lap for Coffee. And now out of the final corners here, UFRL Coffee is a 28.830 to kickstart qualifying for the Alpine. The second Alpine and the second Flying Dutchman of Tajani goes quicker by a second, a 28.894. So he's got the gap already that he needs, just under 1 second to Coffee, as Mr. Poem also does. Pretty similar to Lynx. Not sure how Lynx piece only went 12.6 seconds slower. I'm pretty sure it must have been slower than that. He was definitely out. Unless when I looked at the map he was out just behind Hazer whilst Hazer started the lap. That is possible, I suppose, actually. Anyways, we are on now with the two McLarens. Parkour did go half a second off, and the Alfa Romeo goes second fastest, just behind Tajani. But let's see what the two McLarens do. Wizard Rex first of all. You've got Pesci onto the main straight now as well. Or the back straight, shall we suggest. And Wizard Rex will set a 28.2 and will go second fastest. Purple Sector 3 to boot. But here comes the man who we're watching out for this evening. Obviously, Hazer will be the first one, but the second one will be Pesci. These are the two main contenders, and it will be Pesci to the line. Surely going to go quickest. It's a 27.0. He's 8 tenths quicker than the rest of the pack, and he is quickest, but quite a strong margin there. And let's drop down towards the Red Bull of Link's Piece. Can he get any closer? Towards that 27.0. Will he go second? No, he only goes 5th fastest. Not ideal there for Link's Piece. Not a strong time from him to go 1.4 seconds off the pace. Mr. Poem now will lead to the line, using up all of his battery, and it will be a 27.8. And he does go second fastest, just ahead of Tajani by 7 thousandths of a second. But we'll go to Hazer now, who will threaten for pole. He goes second. Only second, half a second off for Hazer. So he's got some time to gain if he wants to go close towards the front runner. As Parkour goes into the pits, Rust Bolt on a lap, Link's Piece still out. Wizard Rex is also still out on track. Not using up his battery now, however. Therefore, I think the only driver on a lap is Rusted Bolt, who of course has just started his lap, so through into the S's now for the AlphaTauri. Can he link up with his teammate Hazer and push for an AlphaTauri front row or second row start for Rusted Bolt? Let's see what the Lithuanian can do. He's got Hazer gaining the slipstream from his teammate up ahead. See the advantage that it does bring to you. Hazer will move out of the way nicely for Bolt to be able to approach down through the tricky sector 2 into sector 3 mark, and down at turns 11, 12 and into 13 now. And this will be a challenging left-hander, especially if you get it wrong. You might end up in the wall or cutting the corner. Quite easily done, especially when the tyres become a bit more challenging to keep in terms of stability. Who gets pole? Well, it's definitely got to be between Pesci and Hazer, you would imagine, unless there's an outsider pushing for it. Pesci looks the clear favourite, though, half a second up on Hazer. Hazer still not yet in the pit lane, but Rusted Bolt now will lead to the line here. And the Lithuanian, what would he set at 28.5? Only P8 for Rusted Bolt, behind Link's Piece as well. Link's did not go particularly quick either. UFRL William also not on a push lap, however he is in sector 3, just on the back straight at the moment, so we'll wait for William to start his lap. Anybody else pushing on Link's Piece, not gaining any time, losing 4 tenths of a second. Again, he is currently just into sector 3, or just heading into sector 3, so I don't imagine Link's Piece will go any quicker. And there you go, he's losing 7.5 tenths of a second now. So he's definitely not going to go for it. What about Hazer? What is he currently on for? Well, he is going for another lap into turn 1. So it'll be interesting what Hazer can navigate on this lap here. But let's see Merck as well not on a lap. Again, he is just taking it easy. A lot of drivers have been going for the additional outlap for their first runs, in fact. Let's just see what William can do then to spice things up. Can he push his way through the field in this evening's event? Don't forget, he did race at Monza and he did have some handy pace there, keeping up with the likes of Mr. Poem, Merck and Hazer throughout that. Then again, so did Glue at the end of that race. Again, no improvements coming in. Link's Piece is going for another lap. I just want to quickly check in with Hazer. He is gaining by 4 tenths of a second, so we'll say a Pesci looked particularly quick. Hazer may be looking even quicker right now. The McLaren of Pesci is on track on an outlap, and Hazer at the moment is on to get really close to Pesci. He needs to gain about 0.02 of a second, just over that in fact, if he wants to take pole away from the McLaren. And it will of course only be a provisional pole. Got the fuel light on, so he has to push hard. Does he have enough fuel to get himself to the line? Here comes the AlphaTauri of Hazer. Can he put pressure on the McLaren? He goes, but does not go quickest. He loses time in sector 3. He did make a slip, unfortunately for Hazer. A big slip right at the end there. And that has cost him potentially those 0.2 of a second. Hazer, as a result, really not as high up as he would like to. At turn 17 the slip occurred, so he remains second fastest, but he does close the gap. And don't forget, that lap was on 4 lap hold soft tyres, so I think he'll be pretty happy with that up against Pesci, and Pesci knows he'll have to go quicker. A 27.0 will not get you poles, surely, unless Hazer invalidates his time, because Hazer does look quick now, having seen that lap just there from the AlphaTauri. Apart from the slip down and out of turn 17, Hazer would have surely been incredibly close to the McLaren at the front of the pack. Let's go down towards Russ Bolt. And also the times were set then from William, who went into the top 10, 1.8 seconds off the pace. Lynx P still stays P8, so not looking great right now for the likes of Lynx, Bolt and William. Merck as well is on a lap. And here comes Russell Bolt as a Steel Lane as well, I believe. Bolt to the line and goes into the top 5, a little bit better from him, and it's a 28.1. So 5th place for Rusted Bolt. Let's drop down. It's Mr. Poem. Mr. Poem's about to start his lap. We'll check in with Merklen. Out of turn 17 into 18 and 19. And Merck to the line of 28.1. He displaces Rusted Bolt and goes 5th fastest himself. A solid effort from him. Parkour about to start another lap as well. And let's check back in with Hazer. You do presume out of any fuel now. He will go into the pits. Just over 6 minutes to go. Will Hazer only get one more official run? Or can he get 2 more? He's going to either get 1 or 2 more runs here. Same with Pesci. They're both in together, Hazer and Pesci. Steel Lane is improving quite radically as well. The Aston Martin to the line. And Steel Lane only P11, 1.4 seconds off. But he is trying to challenge here. He's got a few drivers around him who have not set immaculate times as well. Vizard, Parkour, Lynx, William a little bit back as well. Coffee in 7th. They're all pretty close in fairness from Merck down to Steel Lane. About 0.4 of a second separating those drivers at the moment. Let's go towards Wizard Rex, but he's not on a lap as well. Neither is Rusted Bolt. What about the Aston Martin and Mr. Poem? He was okay, so he's not on a lap. He will probably go for a lap here. Again, though, we're just over 5 minutes to go. If you get a lap time in here, again, he has a little bit of a slip out of turn 17 into 18. But he does start a lap now. Does he have enough time to get round, set a time, go for an in-lap, and get out again? I don't believe he does. I mean, you're considering 1 minute 27 times at best so far from what we've seen. But take into account, that's using a battery to the limit, so I'm not sure that drivers will be able to get in. You might, if you're pushing hard enough, you might get in with a minute and a half, so 90 seconds to go. But at the moment, we've got 4 minutes 30 to go. Mr. Poem is on a lap, but he's only in sector 2. Let's consider he set a time with just over 3.5 minutes to go, which I think is looking likely. I'm not sure, you know. Oh, anyway, he's not going to have to do that now. He doesn't have to worry about that now. He can go for one more lap. He was lucky not to DNF his car, in all fairness. A massive slip from Mr. Poem. How pivotal will that be? He's still in the top 3 at the moment. And sadly for him, that slip was coming out of the bends into turns 13 and heading into turn 14 quite critically there. Again, a tricky left-hander, but he didn't even make it to the left-hander in the first place, which probably was a good thing, given that he slipped and didn't go in the wall. So he can get one more time in. Good evening, Doug. Hope you are doing good. Get quite a few of the sound alerts tonight, probably the most we've had. William on an out lap then. He will try and push on again, and there's actually quite a few cars now. Just over 3 minutes to go. Parkour, Coffee, all on out laps. A lot of the tier 1 drivers leaving it late, and quite nice to see it as well.
I am stupid.
Well, in all fairness, though, at least you get potentially one final lap in. I think it would be much better if you did. If you were in a position to get that final lap in, that would be solid. and it does look like that is what you may get. So I don't think it's particularly bad, in truth. You know, you can go for one more hot lap at least. You don't have to worry about pushing too hard to get yourself in the pit and go again at the end. Now you've got a bit more time to play with and warm up your tyres in that single lap before obviously going for your push lap. So I don't think it's too bad overall. End of the day, you want to make a mistake then when you can potentially use another set of tyres. You don't really want to make that mistake on your actual final lap, unless that is your final lap, but you are going out again, so doesn't seem like it. William then, it's going to be interesting if this is good for William, because he is starting. Oh no, he's not. He's backed off. He's probably seen the multiple drivers coming out on a lap and thinking, nah, I'm good, I'm not starting my lap now. However, there are 2 drivers on a lap, one including Coffee. So the Dutchman will be the first driver, parkour just behind in the Alfa Romeo. These 2 drivers starting laps whilst trying to navigate their way through the field. Drivers do have plenty of time still to get round. Even the 2 AlphaTauris of Hazer and Rusted Bolt, they have plenty of time to get round again. William is trying the extra outlap strategy here. Let's see if it does work. Parkour improving by some half a second on her previous run, so it's looking good for the Alfa Romeo, and Coffee as well. Let's see what he can do. Just heading into the technical part of the circuit here, down into sector 2 rather for the Dutchman. How would he be able to fare again? Just heading into the tricky left-right chicane and exiting out of it. And let's see what he can do out of turn 16 and heading onto the back straight into turn 17. One of the longer back straights, in fact, in Formula 1. Of course, you've got Baku. I think that's the longest straight in the game. You've got Mexico, a typically long straight. Abu Dhabi, typically long. Oh! Contact form here. Coffee was on a lap. I think that was with Mr. Poem. Coffee was on a lap, unfortunately. The Alpine was on a lap. He was improving as well. But we're going to parkour. Parkour goes 3rd fastest. What a time from the Alfa Romeo. I'm going to be honest, I get the presumption that will probably be a quali ban, unfortunately, for the next event for Mr. Poem. As Coffee was on a hot lap and heading into turn 17. But either way, dust yourself off. Get out of your head. And just, I think you've just got to focus on the race now. But unfortunate there for both drivers, but obviously particularly for Coffee, given that he was on a lap. But parkour, brilliant time there to go 3rd fastest. You may still see improvements here. Let's go and see what Steelane's doing at the moment. He's improving by 1/10 of a second. So it's looking pretty tasty here for the Aston Martin driver. And let's see, just heading now into turn 16. And we'll exit out of it as well. Let's see what he could do. Just a small improvement though through the sector 2 split. Not looking too graceful here for Steelane. And now let's see what he can do. Heading into turn 17 and all the way, which leads you to turns 18 and 19. No shaky moment for the Aston Martin, so pretty stable in general. And he does improve to go into the top 10. As Tajani goes 4th fastest, Wizard Rex goes into the top 3 as well. Brilliant time there from Wizard Rex. We're going to go on board with Pesci as William goes 9th fastest. Coffee only in the top 10. And Pesci to the line goes even quicker at a 26.622. Merck goes 5th fastest. And Hazer stays 2nd, but does improve by 0.4 of a second. Rusted Bolt, he is currently 9th. He goes 6th fastest as well. Lynx went P7. It was massive improvements at the end. Take into account Parkour was 3rd fastest before all of this kicked off. Parkour ends P8 because Pesci and Hazer were likely going to get in the top 2. But the majority of the rest of the pack did improve late on. But it is Pesci who takes a championship point for pole, edging out his championship rival Hazer. Once again, they are 1 and 2. But the rest of the field, Wizard Rex. Well, there you go. Pesci has a teammate to potentially help him. Wizard Rex is 3rd place on the 2nd row with the Alpine of Tajani Brinkman. Hazer has got it all to do against the two McLarens. The Williams and Merc is in P5 ahead of the AlphaTauri of Russell Bolt. Hazer will be hoping his teammate can navigate his way through the field and have it be a McLaren v AlphaTauri battle this evening. The Red Bull of Link starts in P7, the Alfa Romeo of Parkour 8th place, 9th will be the Aston Martin of Mr. Poem, and into the top 10 the Haas of William has outqualified Coffee in the Alpine. Of course, Coffee not able to get the final lap in, unfortunately. C-Lane starts P12 in the Aston Martin. I wonder how much higher could Coffee have been if, and only if, he didn't effectively lose out on that final run. Leave me alone, I know what to do. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it was a brilliant lap to get in, but unfortunately a lot of drivers did improve. It does look like it's set to stay dry in the race, and I will take a few minutes of a break, and then we will be back at what seems to be, I believe, 8:35 PM. I will just double check on that. I'm sure it's in the racing lounge already. It is, there you go, 8:35 PM, so I'll be back in a few minutes' time. Right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. We are due to get the show on the road here. And indeed, just looking at the scoreline, it is Sheffield United 0, Arsenal 4. Quite a hammering down at Bramall Lane. Sheffield United looking set for relegation back to the Championship. Then again, so are Burnley, and then again, so are Luton Town. So all three teams who got promoted last season are looking likely to all get relegated this season as well. The only team who could probably stop that are Luton Town, to be fair. But Sheffield United on their way back to the Championship, Arsenal on their way back to the Champions League and not winning the Premier League. Anyways, 1 light, 2 lights, 3, 4 and 5. And hammering down, it's lights out, and it's go, go, go! Pesci and Hayes are going for at the front. Slow runner at the back in the form of Mr. Poem, but they are going for a little tap there from the Alpine into the AlphaTauri, but Pesci and Hayes get through smoothly. Wizard following in P3 with Tajani and Merck in the top 5 as well. They're all battling, squabbling away with Parkour challenging with Bolt, and Poem taking the place of Steel Lane and up into the top 10 with Coffee. 8 tenths adrift, maybe had a mistake through the early parts in Sector 1 here, but the top 2, Pesci and Hazer, look clear and have had a clean getaway here at the opening stages of this event. The tyre situation is on for you as well. Pesci and Hazer split strategies, with Hazer opting for the hard, Sajani making the move on Wizard Rex, not wanting to wait around, and here comes Link's Piece round the outside of Merck, as aggressive as per as well, and Link's Piece does get through into the top 5, edging out ahead of the Williams. Next target will be Wizard Rex, but clean getaways for the majority of the field. They're all leading all the way to the Mr. Poem. In all fairness, the gaps are close as Parkour and Rusted Bolt astonishingly running close to each other. Parkour just ahead, but Bolt and William will be watching this one, and we'll go directly on board with William here. We'll change the angle because this one is the one we want to see. The broadcast for you, electrifying into turn 17. And there you go, they are going side by side, potentially a little bit of contact. But who will be ahead? Will it be Bolt or will it be Parkour? Parkour does seem to have the edge, and Parkour stays ahead. But Bolt is going to go round the outside into turn 1. Will Rusted Bolt get the move? They are squabbling side by side still. Bolt and Parkour in Sector 1, but Parkour stays ahead. Here could come William, but William doesn't get the best run out of Sector 1, unfortunately, which will lead you all the way down into Sector 2 eventually, but they've got the tricky S's to come for it. But it does look like Parkour is holding up Rusted Bolt. This is not going to help Bolt in his overall race here. He needs to get past the Alfa Romeo and needs to catch up to the likes of Merck and Wizard Rex ahead. Speaking of which, Wizard Rex not rating around. No, he's on the mediums. He has lost places on the start, in fact. Lost out to Tajani, lost out to Lynx, trying to go down the inside of Merck, but holds out and stays in P6. Would he get a better line here? And it doesn't seem like it, so Merck will stay in 5th place. Pesci has a little bit of a gap to Hazer, 7.5 tenths, but that is opening up now. Almost out of DRS range. Don't forget DRS activated on the next lap, so Hazer trying his hardest to stay within a second here, and we're going to go back on with William because Rusted Bolt has now lost time. Bolt on the hard tyres, don't forget, losing out to Parkour right now, and I'm sure trying to use some battery just to catch up to the Alfa Romeo. So Coffee unfortunately has made a pit stop as well, so not a great start to the event. But Coffee, the Dutchman, down in P12, clearly had some damage and has opted for the fresh set of medium tyres, but not the race Dutchman would have wanted. Losing out at the end of qualifying, where Mr. Power unfortunately did get in his way at turn 17. But Coffee now has a long way to get back into this race. Let's go back towards Wizard Rex as well. And yellow flags for Tajani. Tajani is off. Down through the double left-hander. It's not quite a Bahrain like the double left-hander at turns 9 and 10, but it's still tricky enough. You need to get the wide line. Tajani did go quite full out for the wide line. He went a bit wider than he would have liked to, quite clearly down at turn 7. Really well, turn 6 into 7, and the Dutchman is down in P11. The two Alpines not having the best of starts, and they are P11 and P12, as Wizard Rex clear ahead of Merck. The Parkour doing well to keep pace with Wizard and Merc at the moment. So got some good pace there, the Alfa Romeo. Clearly a tier 1 driver. Still, even though she hasn't been playing the game that much recently. Anyways, Pesci and Hazer then, they are still going at it. They've got the gap they need to those drivers behind as well. Over 3 seconds is the gap. And there was a move further down. Maybe Steelane, I believe he's got past his teammate Mr. Poem and up into 9th place. So there you go, the 2 Aston Martins have switched. Maybe Steelane trying to catch up to Rusted Bolt, who is also on the rear of William. Actually no, it may have been William overtaking Bolt, sorry. Either way, that is covered in the order. It was different. Bolt was ahead of William, Mr. Poem was ahead of Steelane, so there could have been a double move in fact. But I know that was the order between those 4 drivers before, but it's clearly changed since then. So William ahead of Bolt, trying to get within a second of the pack here of Merc, Parkour, Wizard Rex as well. Link's Piece kind of racing a little bit in on his own sort of world. Here's a little gap towards Wizard, a big gap towards the 2 ahead, and here comes Parkour looking to make the attacking move on Merc. Will she go for it? Almost there on Merc. Then again, Merc doesn't have the best of lines, but it's good enough to defend from the Alfa Romeo. I thought Parkour could have got a potential attacking move there from Parkour, but now through into the left-handers. You don't naturally expect drivers to DNF through the left-hander. In fact, down at turns 14 into 15. But it's a possibility. Somebody, especially once you're on the older tyres, if you go for a long stint on the hards, for instance, or a long stint on mediums, you can definitely do it. In the background now, I see Steelane is targeting a move on Rusted Bolt, but not quite going for the overtake there. I think actually that's the one to watch, unless any of these guys can go for the overtake. Parkour still on the rear of Merc, but it's clearly the one to watch has to be Steelane, who is on the rear of Rusted Bolt, trying to catch up to him. The top 2, Pesci and Hazer, they're clearly in a world of their own, but Hazer on the hard tyres, Pesci on the medium, so Pesci likely going to go for the undercut here. And if there's no safety car, which is always possible, and certainly after 5 laps of racing there's not been any signs of a safety car yet. If there's no safety car, the strategy game between Pesci and Hazer will be intriguing to see. But that is what they are 1 and 2 at the moment, and Hazer certainly keeping pace on the harder tyre. And they are both out of battery here, Steelane and Bolt, but either way, Steelane will go for the overtake. Round the outside he'll go. Will the AlphaTauri defend it? Not quite, but he's still side by side. Leads to the Aston, the Alpha, but the Aston is clear, and Steelane is up into 8th place. Brilliant bit of racing there between Steelane and Bolt, but it is Steelane who makes the move stick, and up into 8th place. Next up will be the Haas of William, but fantastic racing, side by side, squabbling through Sector 2 into Sector 3, and it is Steelane who comes out on top in that little battle, as we'll go with Merc tracking down Wizard Rex now for 4th place. Are the hard tyres starting to work in favour of Merc? They are not working in favour of Rusted Bolt just yet in this event, but he's still sticking in this DRS train. This DRS train starts from Wizard in 4th and is all the way down to Tajani in 11th position. Our Steelane, however, may just be out of it. 1 second between himself and William is going to have to push to get inside of it. I think he may have just done that, in fact. So we'll stick here, I think, with Merc. But then again, Mr. Poem is getting closer towards Rusted Bolt as well. Some moves may be made. It would not surprise me if Mr. P or Tajani, maybe. Tajani might be the one. He has got the pace so far this race, but here we'll go with William because Merc didn't have the best run. Unfortunately, he didn't get the best of lines out of turn 8. William certainly did, and gets past Parkour with aplomb and making the move, darting his way forward into turn 11, and William up into 6th place. No other moves were made. Rusted Bolt still keeping Mr. Poem behind. The hard tyres still not favouring Bolt or Merc in this race. Hazer is the one who seems to have got a tune out of those hard tyres in this event so far. Tajani knows he has got some work to do, having had that slip out of turns 6 and 7 earlier on. He needs to do something this race. maybe an undercut could be the way to go, as Mr. Poem looking at an offence on Russ's Bolt. Doesn't go for it. Bolt does go a little bit deep into the corner at turn 17. Yellow flags for Parkour. Safety car has been called out. Parkour must have wing damage. And indeed, Parkour's lost the entirety of the wing. They will get a chance to pit ahead, thankfully, as Pesci and Hazer, if it weren't for their significant gap to the safety car, well, to the rest of the field, should I say, and Lynx as well, I would suggest as well, if it weren't for their major gaps, well, particularly these two, then they may have all been behind the safety car. But this is going to be interesting now. What strategies do they go for? Does Pesci go hard to the end? Does Hazer think about a medium to medium, or a medium to soft, or soft to medium? Then again, he could go for any of them. This is interesting, but you've got to pit surely now. I'm being realistic. I think Coffee might think to pit again, possibly, but he's going in now. He's served a penalty. Must have been a 5-second penalty for the Dutchman. He must have sped into the pit previously. He's back out onto fresh medium, so nobody has a penalty now. I'm pretty sure about that, unless Coffee did receive another penalty earlier on. But doesn't look like it, so nobody has a penalty to serve now. And as you can see, Pesci has the gap to Hazer, but that was well within a second, these two. Now they're surely going to pit. But then again, you'd expect everyone else to pit, unless maybe Merck or maybe Bolt. But then again, they haven't endured the finest of pace in this race on those hards. Particularly Russ Bolt has been struggling lately. I think they're all going to go into the pits here. Surely, it'll be a shock to me if anybody does stay out. The tyres have not been too kind on several drivers, and I think you'll see all of them head into the pits here. And yep, all of the top 10 are in, so there's going to be no position changes for anyone really, unless you gain anything in the pit. But Pesci and Hazer seem to be the ones who have got their way through this field. There you go, so they are 1 and 2, they're both on mediums, and Pesci did start on mediums, so his next pit stop has to be soft or hards. He doesn't want a safety car in, say, 5 laps time. There is a safety car, well, 5 laps might be good for hards. But if there's a safety car in, let's say around lap 15, lap 16, he's going to either have to go soft or he's going to have to go hards. He cannot go for another set of medium tyres. And it doesn't look like there's going to be any rain inbound either. It looks fully dry, so therefore Pesci cannot run another set of mediums. And if the game allows us to, I will just double check any other drivers. The only other one is Parkour. Parkour has also gone medium to medium, so Pesci and Parkour cannot use the medium tyre again. They have to use a set of softs or hards. Thank you for the raid, DM Punk. Hope you are doing well, and thank you for the viewers. So just letting you know, we are UFRL, currently doing a league race, Tier 1 tonight. Pesci and Hazer, they are battling hard for the championship this season. They're all going at it, and they were leading the way by a few seconds. Link's piece has always been up there though. He again is another strong contender in P3. Merck is, I think is he 5th in the championship or 4th in the championship? So they're all pretty much in order in the championship, but I can tell you that it can be very close racing for sure. It was a DRS train from P4 down to P11. The front three did sort of get away. Pesci and Hayes had a gap to Lynx. Lynx had a small gap, I think it was about 1.4 seconds to 4th place. And Coffee did lose his wing earlier in the race, so we had to pit. But we've had a safety car now. Parkour has unfortunately dropped down a few places, having lost her wing. But we will be back underway the next lap. But yeah, thank you for the raid. So again, just giving you an update. I know you can see it on your screen as well. We do other race days as well. So Tier 2 tomorrow night I'll be involved in. I'm currently actually battling for a championship. But in Tier 2 it will be 8 o'clock PM. And we are racing at Silverstone as well tomorrow night. And then Tier 3 on Wednesday 8 o'clock. Friday night 100% Tier. I do the commentary for that as well. And that is realistic cars. Saturday is the international tier, 9 o'clock PM. And for that one, effectively for the international tier, you get a host of different drivers. You don't have to be from America, for instance. You could be from anywhere in the world for the international tier. But yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, I'd love to see it. Yeah, at the end of the day, we just want to see good racing, good hard racing, close racing, which we often do see in this league, to be fair, not just in Tier 1, but in the league you do often see close racing, and you don't get that many incidents, given how close the racing is. So, it's all good. But anyways, hope you're all doing well in that one. Let's go back to the front then, as they have all made their pit stops. It was going to be interesting as to whether Parkour or Coffee could have pitted again, because effectively after Parkour lost her wings, she had to pit straight away, and that was almost in the pit lane. Actually, it was just outside of it, so Parkour had to go in the pits. Coffee pitted that lap as well, but they could have gone for one more lap and then pitted, but now they're going to have a few extra percent on their tyres in comparison to the top 10. There's only going to be probably 2 or 3%, because you won't be pushing under the safety car, of course, so you'll only have about 2 or 3% extra on your tyre life. But Pesci was leading on mediums, Hazer was second on hards earlier on. Now they're both level playing field on the mediums. This is where it gets interesting. Lynx is on hards. I don't know if he's thinking to maybe go to the end. It's going to be a long stint of about 21 laps on those tyres, about 20-21 laps, so can he do it in that Red Bull? I think he might hope for another safety car potentially. But Pesci and Hazer, Pesci again, I will just give you another update. Pesci and Parkour, they have used 2 sets of mediums. They have to use soft or hard the next time they pit, because they have gone and used their 2 sets of mediums now. But anyways, they are back up and running, and Pesci will lead into turn 1, and they've got a good gap already to top 2 with Lynx on those hard tyres, and they're side by side. William and Wizard into turn 1. Has the Haas got to move ahead? He is edged ahead. He is clear, and William is into the top 5. Brilliant move, taking the American by storm, and William into 5th place. Now he has Merck ahead. They're all going at it further behind. Mr. Poem on the soft, tracking down the hard tyre runner of Tajani, the Dutchman keeping Poem at bay, but for how much longer? Poem on the far better tyres at the moment. He will surely make a move sometime soon. In fact, the 2 Aston Martins are both on softs. Steel Lane in 7th place as well, but not for much longer, because he will follow William and make a move into 6th place. William cannot defend it hard enough, and of course, well, Wizard rather, not William, but there you go, the move done, as Rusted Bolt now joining in this little battle, and it will be a tie down all the way to 5th place. You've got Merck ahead, Lynx Piece as well, so it's effectively a battle for a podium. They're all within a DRS train now, but the top 2, Pesci and Hazer, they have pulled out the gap again, and they are running clear. But Pesci has interestingly built a 1.1 second gap. Hazer will definitely be trying to use some battery to claw his way back into there. Can he do it though? So we're back in with this one. Steel Lane making a move down the inside on the Haas, and Merck also making his move on the hard tyre runner of Lynx Piece. Merck now up into 3rd place, Steel Lane into 5th place, and Steel Lane is amongst the quickest drivers on the track right now, as is Mr. Poem. The Poem not running too close to Tajani, only 10th place still, but Steel Lane and Merck are the ones trying to make moves early doors since the safety car restart. We'll stick with this little battle then between Merck and Lynx over 3rd place. I think for now these two, of course, battling in the championship for 3rd place as well, so it makes it only fair that they are battling 3rd place in this evening's race behind the top 2 in the championship as well. I mean, Mr. Poem is the one outsider really, down in 10th, who's trying to battle with Merck and Lynx in the championship. Rusted Bolt as well, currently P8 in this race. He is 6th in the championship. He is not too far away, and in fact he has now made a move on Wizard Rex, and he's gone for it. Next up will be William. He's on the mediums now. He will be preferring that tyre. Of course, he was on hards at the start and definitely wasn't enjoying his pace on that, but he will look forward to this medium set of tyres back towards Steel Lane, who is directly behind Lynx. We will get DRS activated next lap, but Pesci has built an astonishing gap to Hazer, 1.8 seconds. Pesci leads Hazer, and are now heading down into turn 17, but Hazer has not got the pace right now to keep up with Pesci. Interesting to note that one, as they will now all get DRS, not quite yet, but they will get DRS out of turn 8 onto the back straight effectively. So we'll see how it goes. We'll drop down towards Parkour, who was all over the rear of Tajani into turn 1, and he will try and go down the inside. Space afforded for both of them, and as you can see, the Alpine holding the gap, and Parkour not quite executing the move. Very close, however, but Tajani stays ahead of Parkour. Go back down towards Link's piece, and on the hard tyres doing pretty well to keep up with Merc. In all fairness, Steelane will still look for the move, but Steelane's tyres will begin to go off fairly quickly, you imagine, on those softs. So how much longer can the two Aston Martins last until they may have to think about a set of medium tyres here? Either way, Link's piece getting close there. Russell Bolt making the move down the inside of William. Going a little bit deep as well. That can compromise his exit. And would it give William a chance that he needs? Not quite. Russell Bolt is up into 6th place. Was it wise to make the move, though, the AlphaTauri? Given that William will now get DRS on the straight. Maybe it wasn't the best of decisions there from the AlphaTauri. Clearly wanted to get a move on. But should he have held back on William, or is it the best call? Let's see. He is currently half a second ahead. William will close the gap, but not enough. So, in fact, it is looking now like it is a wise call. Parkour makes the move onto Johnny. They are side by side again. And just about keeping out of the wall there, Parkour, but they continue their squabble through it to turns 18 and into 19 and onto the straight again, leading into turn 1. Parkour on the inside, Tajani on the outside. They will continue to go side by side, and the Alpine seems to have her number, and Tajani stays in the top 10 just about. But great racing between the pairing. Parkour edging closer, not quite completing the overtake. However, we're going to drop back, or go higher up rather, towards Lynx once more, keeping the pace right now with Merc on those hard tyres, and in fact going for the overtake on Merc on those hard tyres, looking for that little inside line. Now he will go for the move. Will he be 100% ahead? Yes, he will. Merc not fighting it hard. And there you go, Lynx piece and onto the podium on those hards that have all on different strategies, hards, mediums and softs being used from both Lynx, from all of Lynx, Merc and Steelane. But that is currently how they are looking. Russell Bolt beginning to close the gap on the mediums as well. Gap is now well within a second, so this is a chance for Bolt. He'll be happy to get some DRS to keep back the on-rushing William, who was now really caught up to Bolt. Bolt did have to use up a lot of resources. Speaking of which, here comes Merc down the inside on Lynx piece and back up into 3rd place. So these two definitely squabbling. Then again, Merc not got the best line, because here comes Lynx going round the outside. Brilliant line there, and attacking is Lynx piece with the DRS and making his way through up into 3rd place. Merc went a little bit deeper to turn 17. Lynx done the cutback and it was executed beautifully. Through goes the Red Bull. But the thing is, the issue is they are well behind the top 2 at the moment. Hazer, well, he's nowhere right now. 3 seconds behind Pesci. He was not expecting that, given that he's on the same tyres now. Earlier on, he was on the worst tyres, and he was keeping up well within a second. Yet now, he's nowhere near it. Wonder if Pesci's just pushing that battery a bit harder, you know. There is potential. That's surely what he's doing. I mean, either that or he's managed to figure out the track perfectly, but Hazer, a little bit concerned right now with trying to keep up these drivers, though going very close to each other here. And as you can see, a little bit of a lock up ahead as well, but a little bit of a wide line there from Steelane that could put him under some pressure here from Rusted Bolt. Let's see what Bolt can do. And again, all of them will have DRS except for Merc up ahead. In fact, it does look like William is the one trying to charge through. Is he using any battery to make it? No, he's just going to hold back. He's got enough battery as well. We did have a little brief look on the steering wheel. Further behind, Mr. Poem is on the rear of Tajani. These two not where they would have wanted to be. Mr. Poem on the softs, Tajani on the hards, but Tajani was high up at the start of the race before he spun. He did spin on the exit of the S's into turn 6 and 7. So not ideal for the Dutchman there, as Coffee taking Parkour. Parkour shot quite far back in fact, but they are still going at it, and Parkour holding it Not parkour, rather, Coffee holding it round the outside. So the Dutchman is up at a P11, just about ahead now. So we go back towards Russell Bolt, closing the gap towards Steel Lane. How much longer will the Aston Martin stay on the soft tyres? It's not quite working for Poem here. It's definitely working for Steel Lane, and if he can stay in this battle for longer, he can then think about either softs or mediums at the end, rather than having to go to the hard tyres. So once more, parkour down the inside on Coffee. Does look like she's got the move done. And up into P11. Coffee not quite fighting that one, but it will still squabble into Sector 3. But here we go again. Who has the better line? It does look like Bolt, and also Link's Piece now is closing the gap towards Merc. I think Link's the Red Bull will go for the overtake, or will he? They are going to go in at side by side now for the first time, really. Side by side, Link's Piece and Merc, and as Link's got the car fully ahead, just about. Merc may go for a potential overtake here, not getting a switchback that he would have wanted. But there you go, Merc gets the DRS at the turn 1. This is going to be interesting. Who is ahead? Lynx versus Merc. It is Merc round the outside, but he's still going at side by side. They've got the gap, they've got the potential of a brilliant overtake here, and there you go, Lynx holds the advantage, but they're going in at it as well further back. Steel Lane keeping Bolt behind, and all of these 6 drivers are really going at it here at Miami. Who will get the advantage out of them? Well, the gap has been formed now. Link's Piece has opened up a little gap towards Merc, and now the likes of Steel Lane and Russell Bolt will be squabbling as well. Can they both overtake Merc here? Well, either way, Bolt has taken Steel Lane and into 6th place now, or 5th rather. And they are going in at side by side now. No contact between any of the drivers. Brilliant racing here. Absolutely brilliant stuff. And having a little look there was William. William not quite making the move, but they've been racing really hard, really well. Quite remarkably so. And they're doing very, very well to keep it up. But they're still losing a lot of time, that top 2 flying clear on their medium tyres. Anyways, here comes William then making the move, and also down the inside goes Merc on Lynx once more into turn 17. I think, has he got it done? Well, he's not quite got it done, because again he runs deep, and once more Link's Piece has gone for the cutback. Merc has not quite figured that one out yet, the cutback. That Link's Piece has been performing on him 2 or 3 times now. Wizard Rex quite far back here compared to the top 6 now, so let's go back towards Bolt. Wizard Rex on those hard tyres. Steel Lane is dropping back unfortunately on the softs now, so he is being pulled in now by the Dutchman Tajani Brinkman. His hard's beginning to work better for him, having had to battle with Mr. Poe earlier on. And let's see if Russ Bolt is in a position, or even William, because William is closing this gap as well. They need to hope that they're not using too much of their resources. Then again, Bolt has used a lot of his. But they are going side by side once more between Merc and Lynx. They have gone side by side a lot here at Miami, certainly in the past few laps. But it does look like the Red Bull has just about got the Williams' number. Not literally. Oh, a little bit of a... Oh, that was getting close there. Almost a half spin from Lynx there, losing some traction on his hards. Does he have to pit again, or can Link's Piece genuinely go to the very end here? So Merc is now going to go for the move down the inside of Lynx. He's going to not go too deep, because he can't afford to do it again. But has Link's Piece got the overtake around the outside? It does look like they're going side by side again. Lynx edging his car ahead. Who has DRS? It is going to be neither of them. I don't think any of them got DRS, in fact, unless Merc did, but it didn't look like his rear wing opened there, so I do think neither of them got DRS. I do know the game sometimes does that. Unless he did, but either way, he couldn't complete the overtake, but they were side by side. Link stays ahead, and into the pits did go both Steel Lane, and most importantly, Hazer has gone for the undercut. Fresh mediums then for Hazer. Surely Pesci pits now. And again, does he? Don't forget, Pesci needs to go softs or hards. Softs or hards have to go on for Pesci. And let's see here as Merck down the inside on Link's piece and making the move stick, and also Bolt was having a little look as well, not quite making it. Still great battling here. All of these drivers. Steed Aid was obviously in there before, he's gone for fresh mediums, but they have been battling hard and battling incredibly well so far in this race. So there you go, Low. Steel Lane is just ahead of Parkour. Parkour did pit a couple of laps earlier for the hards. And is Pesci going into the pits? No. So Pesci stays out. Unsurprisingly, given that he's got to do a different strategy call anyway. I think he's going to go soft here. I think there's no chance that Pesci's going to think about going hard. He's going to go softs. If there's a safety car now, though, does it play into the hands of Pesci? I'm not sure it would, you know. Hazer, though, is on the rear of Mr. Poem already, and in fact, not much longer, because he has already got the move done. So Hazer into turn 1 now, ahead of Mr. Poem on his fresh tyres, and he'll be closing that gap up. The issue is for him, he needs to hope that those cars ahead pit soonish, otherwise Hazer could be in a little bit of trouble here. Taking into account as well, he's got no battery, so have a little bit of a struggle here. Hazer clearly tried to use his battery to catch up to Pesci. Didn't work for him. But he will be gaining. And he is clearly gaining because he's under 4 seconds behind Tajani now. So it'll be interesting to see what can happen. Let's get the gap to the leader on. The reason why is we want to see the gap between Pesci and Hazer. Currently just over 20 seconds. And let's see if Hazer can pull in the McLaren before the McLaren makes the pit stop. And he will surely go for softs. On board directly with Wizard Rex then. And as you can see, Hazer has made it under 20 seconds to Pesci now. And Pesci does stay out another lap. I think he's thinking either potentially this lap or next lap to pit. As down the inside, Lynx on Merck. They're both battling again. But going deep player Merck, in fact. He will get the DRS, surely. Yes, he does. So let's see if he's got the overspeed on the Red Bull. He's going to go round the outside into turn 1. Who is ahead? Link's piece once again gets ahead of Merck. Merck has not been able to overtake the Red Bull yet. Fully, at least, in this race. Let's see if Russell Bolt can get ahead of the Williams. Not quite. So he has to hold in behind there, Bolt, and stays in P4. And Steel Lane goes ahead of Parkour as well, and up into the top 10. Into the pits goes Mr. Poem. Another set of fresh, soft tyres for Mr. Poem. Not mediums. Intriguing call, that one, given that he's not been enjoying the softs too much over the recent laps. And as you can see, he's lost a lot of time to Steel Lane and Parkour ahead. Oh, running a bit deep there, Link's piece in fact. So let's see if Merck... It's going to definitely be close enough here for DRS, that's for sure. Over the curbs, nice and neat. All, I believe it is 6 drivers, but Hazer now will get DRS on the rear of Tajani. But these drivers are all staying out. And are the hard tyre runners going to the end? This is where it will play tricky for Hazer. Merck does go round the outside on Link's piece. What about the medium tyre runners? Are all of these guys thinking to go to the end? If they are, it could screw up Hazer's strategy game here. Off the undercut. Into the pits though does go Rusted Bolt. He was on mediums. He does look like he's going to go for softs. As you can see, Hazer has now got Pesci's teammate Wizard Rex ahead. Is it going to be a Sergio Perez job on Hazer? Or is Hazer going to sail through? I think he might do the latter. And it goes round the outside. And there you go, Hazer does make the move on Wizard up into 5th place. I think Wizard Rex wanted to play the long game for himself. But Hazer now has got William up ahead. There's no battery though, so he's not really going to be in a position to attack. Except for the tyres, which are clearly in a better place right now. But there you go, you can see he's not there. Merck and Lynx are there, but here comes William as well. William goes for the overtake. Oh, and down the inside goes Hazer. And there you go, the first forms of contact seems to be made. I think Hazer has gotten ahead. He's up to 3rd place now, Hazer. Has he got the entirety of his wing load? Because there must have been a little bit of contact between drivers. Hazer has gotten himself up into 3rd place though. I think Link's Piece was the one who lost out on 1 or 2 places from that for sure. Pesci goes into the pits now though. And I think this is when the soft tyres would emerge. Will anybody else stay out? Or are they all going to pit? Ooh, getting very close there between Hazer and Merc. Hazer really pushing it, knowing he wants this place hard. He's got to go for it to turn 1. He gets it into turn 1 as well. So Hazer has completed the overtaking a bit deep there. As Pesci on the softs is behind Merc. Well, this is going to be interesting. He's going to really push hard. He's not going to let Merc stay there. Yeah, Merc knowing that he is not going to fight that one. Pesci on the fresh soft tyres now. So you can see Hazer with the undercut. Well, it's worked if you want to say that he's leading, but it's not worked if you want to say that Pesci is right there on soft tyres. So I think Pesci will like the fact that he is very close to Hazer and has not got a big gap. He's not got a multiple drivers between himself and Hazer as well. Hazer did unfortunately lose time behind quite a few drivers there as well. But the gap between them is 1 second. Has Pesci got DRS? I think he may do. So there you go. Pesci will now get DRS. And down the back straight they go. So he will gain time, but he's not going to be able to overtake quite yet. He will have to wait a little bit of time, but how much time? Because you can't imagine it's going to be much longer. Out of turn 17 now, the top 2 in the championship, the top 2 tonight. Hazer and Pesci. Multiple drivers behind Merc, Tijani, William and Link's not pitting yet. And around the outside goes Pesci. They are going to be going side by side. But Pesci, with the extra grip, surely stays ahead. But Hazer stays in there. And Hazer stays ahead. He's fighting hard. Pesci's trying to get him back here. Round the outside they go. Through into the S's. Who will back out? Hazer backs out. Pesci does now lead. Can Hazer stick with Pesci though? And can Hazer re-overtake Pesci? That's going to be critical for him. If he wants to potentially have a chance to win, he needs to get a move on Pesci, you imagine. He might be happy just to stay in P2 though, knowing that he will only lose a few points to Pesci this evening. But yeah, he couldn't get the move done. I think that might be the move done for Pesci tonight, providing he gets Sector 2 perfect. If he does, then again Hazer stuck with him. I mean, if Hazer can stick with him with the DRS, he could be okay. So you can see here, he does get DRS once again. He's not got any battery left, but he is putting in Pesci as a result of the DRS. I don't know, he's still got a chance, you know. But those 4 drivers behind, Merc, Tijani, Links and William, particularly Merc on those mediums, should he have boxed for softs or medium tyres, potentially. As Rusted Bolt down the inside on Steel Lane, up into 7th place, he's on softs, don't forget, and he will be closing that gap towards William as well. Let's go back towards Hazer. Can he stick with Pesci in this battle? That's what it's all about for his race. If he can keep up with Pesci, he's going to do good. All his parkour is now retired in the pit lane, however. Only in the pits. Well, that's probably a good thing. If you're Pesci in particular, but also, I don't know, I mean Hazer. I'm sure Hazer would have loved the safety car there. Would have loved it. That was fun. Learned something about my pace in that today. Yeah, you did good. You did good. Pretty much shows that you are definitely still tier 1 pace as Tijani makes the move. Or does he? Merc is still in there side by side here. They know the battle for the lead is done. They know the battle for second is done. As down the side goes Link's Piece as well. But I think Merc is just ahead of the Red Bull driver. They're all going to be struggling for tyres, but particularly Merc right now on his mediums. I'm not sure if it was the right strategy to stay out here. I think Merc may have been wiser to have made a stop onto softs or mediums, particularly when Bolt went for it. It's going to be interesting the last 5 laps or so. Can the hard tyre runners on the 16 lap old hard tyres keep back the likes of Rusted Bolt in particular? It looks like Bolt did pit at the right time, but can he catch up to this group? He is about 7 seconds behind. And don't forget, he'll have to overtake all 3 of them. This could get tasty for the podium here, for Rusted Bolt in particular. He is gaining time on the top 6. So let's see what he can do, as Pesci has pulled out a 2-second gap on Hazer and is all but set for the win now in that McLaren, except that there is a potential late safety car. Can't quite rule that one out now, can we? And Merck is just hanging in there for DRS at the moment. His tyres are gone. There's no doubting that his tyres are gone, but he's sticking in there right now. We'll just let you know on the current score at Bramall Lane. It is Sheffield United 0, Arsenal 5. Declan Rice adding to the scoreline. And again, that was within 40 minutes. So where are they now? Are they half time? No, they've just started the second half. They're about 10 minutes into the second half. And it is 5-0 to Arsenal. I think Sheffield United can certainly feel like they can get a win out of that. Sheffield United, they can win 6-5. Why not? Anyways, let's see here if Merck will go for the overtake. He's going to look for it down the inside. Or Tajani. I think Tajani has just held off the Williams there. And he has done. Tajani has done well to get his way through the field, I've got to say, on those tyres. Williams done well to keep up as well. I think Link's Peace is the one at the moment who could be struggling here to keep pace. Merkle on the inside line would have lost a bit of time to Tajani. Could he have been better off just staying in behind? Maybe. Because he's only lost about a couple of tenths in all fairness. He is still right behind the Alpine. I wonder if Hayes had pitted now for fresh softs. He would be gaining so much time. I can't exactly rule it out, can you? If Hazer did pit for fresh softs. Let's go for the fastest lap, potentially. I don't know, maybe he could. He could think about it, you know. But if he is going to, it would surely have to be on this lap, because he cannot afford to lose time to this train of drivers. But he would have superior pace. The traction that he'll get out of corners would be formidable compared to this little train of 4. Russell Bolt, meanwhile, is just over 3 seconds away from this battle now. We are about to start lap 27, which would mean 3 laps of racing remaining here. And Hazer is staying out, so he's not risking the pit stop. And down the inside goes Merck onto Tajani. And again, they are going to be going side by side. Not sure going side by side is the best play. Especially when you got Rusted Bolt catching you at a rate of knots now at 3 seconds behind. And there you go, Merck taking the inside line. Tajani going round for the outside line. Tajani just staying ahead. But here comes Merck now. He's going to go side by side again with Tajani. Once more, these two. I mean, it was Merck and Lynx previously. Now it's Merck and Tajani. Merck has been in the battles all week, all night, and unfortunately, he has spun. There must have been contact with either Tajani or Lynx, you'd imagine. Unless he lost it by himself. Oh, what? That is the harshest disqualification I have seen on the game. No way. How is the game just... Wow, that is incredibly harsh, in my opinion, to disqualify him. No way. No way has the game disqualified him for that. He turned round quickly. I've seen people turn round facing the wrong way much longer than that and not be disqualified. The game has to take into account he has just spun. Whether it's with another driver or not, he has just spun. The game needs to take that into account. I do not understand that. That is, for me, a clear mistake from the game. That should not be a disqualification. No chance should that be a disqualification. For me, that's quite appalling from the game, in all fairness. Definitely feel sorry for him, but one man who will probably feel happy would be Rust Bolt, because he is now catching up to the trio ahead. But Lynx will be happy as well, but for me, I think that is there's certainly a word that I could use for it. I'm not going to use it on the stream, but I know what word I'm thinking. It begins with a B and ends in a T, but it's not a particularly good decision from the game. Let's just say that. I think you all know what word I'm on about. But again, obviously I won't say it on the stream. Right, Steelane is keeping Wizard back. I would probably say it if it was my own stream, but not on the league stream. I'm not saying that. Only when I'm racing I might say it. As Wizard Rex will go for this overtake then, and here comes Bolt. I have to just move to this. I'm going to go to the interval as well now, because Rusted Bolt has clearly joined in and has got the overtake on Link's piece done. So this is when it gets interesting. As Bolt has joined in this battle. It's a four-way battle again, unfortunately not including Merc, but Link's piece has lost out to Bolt, and Bolt surely now, although he has no battery, his tyres are far, far better than all three drivers around him. As William had a little look for the move, and certainly Bolt as well had a look at William not quite going for it. So are any of these drivers going to potentially go for the overtake here? What about William? Not quite. None of them going for the overtake into turn one. This is the final lap as well, might I add. So it is critical for Russell Bolt to not just get one, but to get two on this final lap. It could be a double AlphaTauri podium still. Don't forget, Wizard Rex unfortunately is quite far back, so it won't be a double McLaren podium. Pesci is set for the win. Hayes is set for second place. But a battle for third is on, and Tajani has built a little gap to William, 6/10 of a second. But here potentially comes Rusted Bolt. Crucial that he goes for an overtake out of turn 8 into turns 9 and 10. He's not close enough though, Bolt. He's trying to use all of his battery, which he has none. And as you can see, William is closing the gap now. Having a look down the inside there, Rusted Bolt. And now into turn 11. Bolt knows he's got the greater grip, the greater tyres, but Tajani and William defending it well enough. This could be close between William and Bolt. Both will get DRS. This could be the chance they need. I'm going to quickly go away because your winner here in Tier 1 at Miami, Pesci, comes up tops and wins again. Hazer will come through and take home second. It's another 1 and 2 for them. William round the outside. Tajani will defend it with all he's got. With all he's going to muscle out. But here comes Bolt. Bolt has a little bit of a twitch, but he is going to lose out to William as Tajani finishes on the podium. P3, P4 William, P5 Russell Bolt, and P6 Link's piece. Incredible battle between those drivers. Wizard Rex comes home in 7th. The McLaren started high up. Couldn't quite make it with those drivers ahead. 8th place is Steelane. Coming through in P9 it will be Coffee, and last of all in P10 it will be Mr. Poem. But my honest opinion, I think the disqualification for Merc was incredibly harsh, and for me, I personally think he should take the P11, but there you go. I think that was very unreasonable from the game to give that disqualification. Anyways, through the podium celebrations we go. As you can see, Pesci, Hayes and Tajani. Tajani clinching that podium there. Some brilliant battles throughout this event though, particularly those battles for the final place on the podium. I thought Pesci and Hayes were going to have a great battle, but Pesci didn't want it. He pulled clear, not once but twice. Even though Hazer was able to keep up on the hard tyres quite remarkably. But anyways, those are your finishing positions here this evening. And it is Pesci, Hazer, Tajani all on the podium. William comes home 4th place, great race from him. P5 Rusted Bolt, P6 Link's Piece, P7 Wizard Rex having started on the podium. P8 for Steelane, P9 Coffee, P10 Mr. Poem, a DNF for Parkour, and a DSQ for Merc, although a very harsh disqualification indeed. I mean, it's still points, to be fair, P11. It would still be 10 points, I think. So, I would say, I don't know, I mean, I think it's a very harsh disqualification. I don't really know why it disqualified you, in all honesty. Um, you know, obviously, when you're facing the wrong way for a long time, fair enough, but you weren't facing the wrong way for that long. Yeah, I think it's incredibly harsh, personally, to be completely honest, but yeah. Should have had a podium or at least P4. Yeah, I mean, it would have been very difficult on those tyres. Obviously, you were on mediums, they were all on hards. And they were the same tyre life at the end, but yeah, very very harsh disqualification. Right, let's look ahead for what we have for the week. I did obviously mention earlier on, but I will mention again what happens for Tier 2, and it will be at Silverstone for tomorrow night's race. So let's see what happens there. I'm sure Ghost will be mighty quick again. In Tier 3, on Wednesday night, it will be a sprint at Austria. Of course, they did Jeddah last week, but it will be Austria in Tier 3. In the 100% tier, it will be at Singapore and Marina Bay. Again, quite a challenging track for most. And then the international tier will be at the Circuit de Catalunya, held at the Spanish Grand Prix. And of course, we have to go next week in Tier 1, and it will be at Shanghai for the Chinese Grand Prix. Of course, not on the official calendar, but we will have it on this calendar. So China is the race for next week. Right, let's end the stream, but I will of course say again, thank you very much for watching. We have been UFRL, I have been UFRL F1 Viva, and we'll be back tomorrow night for Tier 2 at Silverstone for the British Grand Prix. Thank you for watching, and good night.